You're right. I was mute. Thank you. I should start over. I'll start over. Thank you for telling me that. I'm not gonna start over, but that was just practice. Let's start over on the show. The first 6 minutes was too much. It was bullshit anyway. So, hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Touching Tornadoes, where we talk into a microphone and we actually have our words projecting out in audio form for you to hear. Thanks to Zuzu for letting me know that the first 5 minutes are going to be on mute. I guess I can edit that. I'm hoping to be able to edit that in post. I know how, but that's why I like to do them live, so I don't have to do that. I just like to, come prepared, and then, gosh, that's frustrating. So we're going to start with our gratitude check-in. Of course, I'm grateful for my wife and kids who have been sticking with me throughout this whole process. What's up, Assad? Uh, they've been sticking with me through this whole process, and they've learned so much about what it's like to live with somebody who's bipolar and what it's like to love somebody who's bipolar. So I uh, I definitely am grateful for my wife and kids because that's all it's about anyway. So the other thing we got going on today is a quick emotional check-in. Am I feeling calm, restless, hopeful, confused? I'd say it's a bit of all of them. I was restless earlier today because I'd applied for a peer support position at a local. Actually, it's the place where I get my own treatment, but they had openings as a peer supporter, and what that is somebody who has lived experience with a mental illness and is, you know, willing to be open with it and use their lived experience to help others. And so I was expecting a phone call this morning around 9 to find out if I'd got that position. And I'm I got it. I got the position. They said that I got it, but they didn't call me right away. And so that restless feeling, that hopeful, you know what I mean? It's like, is this going to happen? I don't know. So it kind of brings me into today's topic. Um, First, we'll go with our mood. I mean, what we're aiming for here on Touching Tornadoes when we're doing our daily mood journal is we don't want to be, we go from a 0 to a 10 and we're looking for a 5. Anywhere in the middle is what we're always aiming for. Um, what's going on to Zaki? Say hi to you too, brother. Um, we're going for a 5, and I'd say that's about where I'm at today is a 5. I'm not flying off the handle. I'm not inching my way up. I'm doing what I can with this mood journal to stay grounded and tethered and aware of my emotions, aware of my feelings. But it's difficult to do that. Well, it's difficult to come in here every day. I mean, that's what the whole point is to check in with yourself. And for me, it's much harder, much more difficult to do that by filling out a daily mood journal or writing in a journal. And so I just decided this is the best way for me to get it out. And even though it's sometimes a little bit confusing on when to do this, all right, Zach. You use your faith to get you through that unknown time. Like, so for example, I've been, you know, there's this saying like it's all part of God's plan that I've grown up with. Like it'll happen in God's time because you're trying to take it out of your own hands. All right, man, see you. You're trying to take when something's out of your control and you have nowhere to put it, but it's still weighing on your mind. That's when you can put it on God and you can put it on faith and say it's going to happen. It's going to happen when it happens. It'll happen if it happens. You like try not to let it bury you in worry or in if this doesn't work out, what am I going to do? In all the what ifs. It's like faith takes away the what ifs, but psychosis takes away the faith, if that makes sense. Um, and so it's this weird, like stepping stone path you have coming out of psychosis back into a, a strong um, foundation of faith. You don't know where that is. You don't know. And that's how it feels for me, at least, is I want to take my anxiety and put it into God's hands. I want to take my worry and put it into God's hands and just have faith that whatever is supposed to happen will happen, and I have no control over it. I just have to be careful as somebody who is bipolar and somebody who has had manic episodes where it feels like I'm really connected to God. And so that's just my thought. There's the tension between wanting control and letting go is kind of what we're talking about. It's a mental tug of war. Wanting answers now versus knowing you're not supposed to have the answers now. And feeling like progress isn't fast enough. Or watching, this is a big one for me, watching my opportunities hang in limbo. Like I'm in limbo. The opportunities aren't really hanging in limbo. It's will this happen? I have no idea. I've done what I can do, haven't I? What more should I do or what more can I do? And I think that um, we put down signs that maybe timing's working, and some of the things that I can control is my sobriety, and I've been sober for well over a year now. I think last June, so coming up on a year and a half of sobriety. I'm calmer and trying to do meaningful work, or I am doing meaningful work by at least trying to share my experience and, my journal with you guys. This is, just trying to open up about the things that I am, the things that I have, the things that I've done because of my illness, and then also how that's affected my life and what I can do from here. But my experiences that I've been through have created patience, humility, and wisdom. I would say they've definitely created humility. There's nothing more embarrassing going. There's nothing more embarrassing thing than going manic and being psychotic. Like there's out of all the things that were embarrassing to me, all my embarrassing moments leading up, it's way more embarrassing to know that you were out of control. So that's why, we are on this little weird timeline of you want control, but you also have to let it go. And it's like, but what if I let it go and I spool up again into mania? Or what if you know, that's again the what if game. And that's what we're supposed to be given to God or to the universe or to our faith is the what if game. You stop playing it as bipolar people, and because it brings this cycle within our own brain of it's never ending if you're playing the what if cycle. So I think that I'm calmer. I think that I'm doing meaningful work. Um, so faith doesn't erase symptoms, but it gives you a place to land. So how faith fits into mental health, um, it's trusting. Trust isn't passive. It's waking up and choosing to keep going. And sometimes the miracle is staying steady. So, faith doesn't erase symptoms, it gives you a place to land. Yeah, I mean, I feel that. And trust isn't passive, it's waking up and choosing to keep going. Trust is active. Trust is waking up and choosing like between all the options that you have, which one of them could be to go back to sleep because everything tells you you should, but you keep on going, and then you try to find what fits for you and pursue it. So sometimes the miracle is staying steady. Yeah, I would say that that's true. If you've been on an up and down cycle, just being in the middle, that's what we're going for here, is staying as a number 5. Um, we're going to get into what I'm kind of hoping for, and you know, a stable job, um, in the industry or a field of study, or how would you say that? The medical field. I'm going to sneeze again. We want disability approval, YouTube growth, emotional peace. Trusting timing means not carrying everything alone. So that's how it's just the same as what I was saying earlier of giving up control of the things that you can't control. And when you're bipolar, sometimes it's scary to want to give control back to faith in God because you feel like you've almost hurt God's feelings from the last time, you were so connected with them. It feels like you hurt us. But you need to trust that things will work out as long as you trust that they're going to work out, and then move towards that somehow. And sometimes that's not very much movement. Um, what's the one thing in my life that I'm trying to trust the timing of? Well, right now I'm in the middle of not knowing what's going to happen with my finances. I have no idea what's going to happen with how that's going to work. I got to give back a bunch of stuff that I bought um, while manic, and I'm scared of how that's going to ultimately play out. I have to give up control of kind of my independence a little bit because you know I I'm trusting my wife with the decisions of my life. If I ever am manic again, giving her like conservatorship and power of attorney, and working on that process right now because during a manic episode I needed somebody to take care of me to keep me from spending all the money that I spent, to keep me from being uh, in the hospital, to keep me out of the hospital, to get me into the hospital. and she didn't have any of that power. So right now I'm trusting, that I'm doing the right thing by giving her practically control over everything. But I think it's the right thing to do. So and I don't know. But I'm sorry that at the beginning of the show, I kind of screwed everything up. I didn't have it off mute. I do that from time to time. And I'm sorry that sometimes I come on here and I have my mood journal is basically just what's your mood? Are you a 1 to 5? Are you a 5 to 10? And you don't want to be in that range. And so I'm trying to get a few things to talk about. I hope I made sense today. Um, Again, I apologize for the beginning of the show when I had it on mute. I guess nothing that I had to say during that first few minutes really mattered. But um, the biggest thing that you need to take from this episode really is when things are out of your control, that's what you're wanting to let go of, the worry of those things. And you can give those things to God. That's what Christians, that's what we try to do as Christians is give our problems, that we can't control to God. So, and trust that it'll all work out. And so that's what I'm going to do. I trust that by me sharing this, I'm helping somebody. Um, I've got, I usually get a message every day that somebody is helped by this mood journal or just me sitting here talking and telling you what my feelings are today. Um, I got to go clean the gutters right after this on my own house. And I'm not a great fan of heights. I'm not scared anymore of heights. Once you've been, that is one thing. Once you've completely lost your mind and went manic and went all over, the country as a maniac a little bit, you stop being scared of little things like heights. So I'm grateful for that too. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve as a peer supporter. That's going to be something that I'm looking forward to. So thank you guys for watching. I'll be back tomorrow unless I fall off a ladder. So that's not going to happen. And if it does, there's a reason for it. That's what we're here to talk about. Is there a reason for everything? Do we control anything? Is everything happen? Is all part of God's plan? And so even the fact that we're questioning is what we are expected to be doing right now. This is part of God's plan. I don't know. It's an interesting topic, and I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. So let me know. Until then, be good to yourself. Don't let your meat loaf, and have an okay day.